Hi, Vibers. Welcome to the Vibe with Kai podcast. It's your boy Kai, and today I'm sitting with the incredible Rini Bell, who the Vibers know as Lulu from Gilmore Girls. Before we get to my interview with her, be sure to follow me on your favorite social media platforms at The Vibe with Kai, or visit my official website at thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, be good, feel good, and live a good life full of good vibes. My guest today, I'm super excited for this, is Rini Bell. Rini is a brilliant actress that has been in such movies such as Ghost World, The Terminal, Bring It On, Road Trip, Baja Beach Bombs, and Jarhead. And of course, she has a recurring role on our favorite TV show, Gilmore Girls, playing Lulu, a local third grade teacher at the Stars Hollow Elementary School, and girlfriend to the one and only Kirk, whom we all love, obviously. She joins me today to talk about Belle of the Bath, her special handcrafted soap, life as an actress, and of course, Gilmore Girls. Rini, welcome to the podcast. How are you? How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy to be sitting and talking with you because you and we've been trying to organize this for probably about a month now. But like our schedules are just insane.
Yeah, my schedule is never organized. No, I want it to be. It is a life goal of mine.
Yeah, but I'm happy that it's actually happened. Like I found time in my schedule, you found time in your schedule, and now it's actually happening. So that put a gigantic smile on my face as soon as it said your name was ready to enter the chat. I'm like, it's happening. Yeah. And of course, shout out to Valerie Campbell for helping to set this up. Valerie Campbell is the key set costumer for Gilmore Girls. She worked on Gilmore Girls from season 1, episode 10, all the way up through the revival. So she knows everything and anything about Gilmore Girls. I interviewed her on my podcast a couple months ago, and ever since then, she's been helping me kind of book so many different incredible people to sit and chat about the Gilmore Girls universe. So let's get started with this. I want to start from the beginning. So you were born in Rome? Is that
true? My God, you're so cute. You were at the beginning.
I'm going all the way back. All the way back.
Yes, you were right. I was born in Rome.
That is so
wonderful
cool.
Womb memories, toddler memories there.
Europe in general has been on my bucket list for like the longest time.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember a lot growing up there? What was it like?
Yeah, I basically grew up there a lot. We lived in Italy, and then when I was 3, we moved to Switzerland, where I went to a French school, and so I've spoken French my whole life because
Parlez-vous français?
3 years old, and my mom threw me into the French school, and I kind of blacked out, and when I came to, I was fluent in French and fighting with some chick. Yeah. What's that?
Parlez-vous français?
Ah oui? Oui, je parle français.
Comment ça va?
Ah, c'est cool. Bah, ça va, je suis contente.
I don't know what you said, but that's all I know.
I'm happy. This is a lovely interview. Yeah.
All I know is if I would have responded at some point with je suis fatigué, which I think means I'm very tired, or I am tired. That's all I know.
It's a useful one. It comes up a lot.
I'm like, let me just learn that one because that just describes me every single day.
It's a good starter. Yeah, me too.
Did I say it right?
You said it perfectly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're totally intelligible to French people.
Now. And that's actually an interesting segue because so you were born in Rome. You said you were immersed into this French world, and then you moved to New Orleans, which is very French in a way.
Yeah, it's got some European values.
Yeah,
it's very upset. Like a lot of forget about LA. LA is so different.
Yeah.
Where I live now, but there's no it's so rude if anyone knows you have money. You just keep it under wraps.
Right.
The values are basically music, food, partying, and family.
Right. Why New Orleans? What was it? Well, I guess what made your family come over to the United States?
Because my maniac parents. My dad, moved to Switzerland so he could get a degree as a Jungian psychoanalyst when he was 40.
Oh my gosh!
And he graduated, and they decided to move to. He wanted to start a practice. He started the first Jungian Institute in Louisiana.
What?
And my mom was teaching ESL, so she did that she does that. She did that in New Orleans and then in Switzerland.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you get to visit New Orleans a lot? I guess not as much recently because of COVID, but do you get a chance to go back?
Yeah. I lived there until I was in high school, and
Mhm.
my family's never left.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Mhm.
and I left in high school to start my career
Yeah.
in New York and LA. And I also was in Paris. Now I go to Paris. That's my Europe hub.
Yeah. That's
Those are
so
my
cool.
spots.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm slightly jealous that you've been so worldly. I'm a Philly boy. I live right outside of Philadelphia,
I've been
and
there.
I have so many places that I've wanted to visit that I just haven't had the chance. And 2020 was supposed to be my year, but apparently the world caught on fire. And so
Oh, that is a bummer.
I
That is a
know.
bummer. You were all ready to go. Now you have to like work it all up again.
I know, I'll still read it. But I mean, it's been a blessing in disguise because I've discovered new things such as such as
Yeah,
Gilmore Girls, and I get to meet
as
people
all
like you.
horrible events
Who
eventually
I
are.
don't think I would have. I don't think our paths might have crossed if it wasn't for the nonsense that went on in the world. So
Yeah.
I'm a little thankful for that.
Yeah, totally. I know. We gotta get positive.
Yes,
We gotta
exactly.
turn it to the
You see how I
positive.
did that? You see how I
Yeah, yeah.
so
Like
how so
very important things.
Yeah, right? So
Yeah.
what made you decide acting? Was there like one specific moment or were you just like were you born with
Yeah.
it or did you learn?
When I was a small child, I was watching The Silence of the Lambs, and I was like, I want to do that.
Oh
I had
no.
like no parenting, by the way. I had like zero parents. And I was just like, I was just obsessed with Jodie Foster when I was a small child, and that was it.
That's amazing. That's quite the movie to make your decision to to go into acting. God, that's one of my favorite movies.
Me
And
too.
that
I still watch it every year.
yeah, and
A little
it's one of
different
those
from Gilmore Girls.
right. And it's one of those movies that I didn't like when I was younger watching it, I didn't really fully understand it and appreciate it
Yeah.
until later
Oh
on
yeah.
in life. It
I
still
still
holds
have that when I rewatch it. I'm like,
yeah.
ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna watch it at some point this week because of this conversation.
All right, me too.
Yeah.
Fine. We'll watch
Yeah.
it
All
together.
right. And then I'm gonna message you and be like, guess what I'm watching right now? You're gonna be
Yeah,
like,
and I'll be like, oh my gosh, me too.
I now here's the thing. I remember I'm going to show my age for a second.
I know.
I remember growing up.
Some references do that.
I remember growing up and watching you in Road Trip and watching you in Bring It On because
Yeah,
those are
the
movies
teen
that
era.
yeah, like those were movies that I grew up with. Both of those movies came out in the year 2000, so that was a pretty I would imagine incredible time period for you to have like this just newfound just things just blow up
I
around
was so young,
you.
and I didn't go to college or anything like that. In fact, I'd been kind of on my own since I was like 15, 16.
Yeah,
And so there was Bring It On, and there were all these chicks my age.
yeah,
And I was like, this is college. And then there was Road Trip, and there were all these guys my age. And I was like, boys, boys. So for me, it was just like perfection. It was just like I got to have, I don't know. To me, it felt like I was just teaming it up.
yeah. Was it hard, to kind of I guess live this unique life that not a lot of people get to experience at a young age? Was it difficult or was
No,
it easy for you?
no, it was not hard.
Okay.
When I mean, I left New Orleans. I was in high school, and I was like, "That's nice," but I was just like, "But why am I in a cage?" And then when I was finally set free to do my thing, I was just like, nothing could be better. It was
Yeah.
a
Oh
lot
my
of
gosh.
people don't want me to advise them to let their teenagers free into the world, but for me, I had no regrets. It was
That's
like,
hilarious. So, I mean,
yeah.
so if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, knowing what you know now, what would you say to her? Would you change anything, or what would you say?
What a sweet question. I would tell her that don't. Well, I don't know. There's probably a lot I forgot. There was a lot of pressure
Sure.
to look a certain way, kind of to act like
Yeah.
a lot of people in the young Hollywood world were very bratty, very
Mhm,
badly behaved, and I felt a certain pressure to behave like them to fit in.
mhm.
And I would just encourage myself,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Right. 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 Right.
Just just don't be afraid to not be a bratty, badly behaved person in Hollywood. That's what I would
I
say.
can only imagine the stories and the experiences and just the things that you've seen at that young age with so
Yeah, because
many
when you're
young
super
stars.
young in a grown up environment, there are a lot of like gross people that think that's great, and without having any sort of preparation for that,
Mhm.
that's okay. I mean, I survived.
Yeah.
Nothing terrible happened to me, but there were a
Right,
lot of
right.
icky situations, and
Oh,
I was like,
oh
"Wait,
yeah.
was that gross?"
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
What would you say was the biggest lesson that you've learned that you've carried with you throughout these years since that time period for you when you first like got into the industry?
Oh, it was so lucky for me in a way that my parents were so like hands off that
Yeah,
they let
yeah.
me do that because a
Mhm.
lot of parents, wouldn't feel comfortable doing that, and it was what I learned from that was that it's really okay to go my own path, even though at the time in my life, I didn't live in a showbiz community. At the
Mhm.
time, it felt like I was doing the wrong thing,
Mhm.
what people don't do. And so it taught me that, in fact, there were so many rewards for following my own path, even if I wasn't getting that outside support at first. And that's not something that I learned and it's one and done, but
Yeah.
it was a really good turning point for me to give me confidence do to really believe in myself when
Right.
I wasn't nobody else seemed to agree with me.
Right, right. Do you happen to run into situations where young actresses and actors now come to you for advice that they might be, trying to either get in the industry or they are in the industry? Do you find that you're having these conversations with young artists now?
Um, Sometimes, but I think they quickly get bored with what I have
Mhm.
to say because things are so different now. And
Oh,
I'm
sure,
like, oh,
sure.
that's dumb. And they're like, no, that's what I have to do. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna think it's fine for now. I'm like, oh yeah, you should think it's fine.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
it's so much work now.
Right,
That,
right,
but
right.
I mean, it's still work for me too. It's work for
Yeah,
everybody. But
yeah.
I'm a little older that I have a different perspective. At least I know the difference.
Sure, sure, sure. That's fair. That's fair. By the way, you have one of the best smiles that I've seen, by the way.
That's so sweet. You're so sweet.
It's brought so much like warmth. It's like it's so pleasant. I love it.
Aw, so is
I love
this
it.
podcast.
Yeah.
Thank
Now
you.
a lot of yeah, a lot of my vibers, I call them vibers. I don't like to call them
I love
followers
it.
because that makes it sound like a cult, like I'm leading a cult, and I'm definitely not.
Vibers is so much like less. Yeah, it doesn't. You
Yeah.
don't realize how weird it is till you're not
Yeah,
doing
like, especially because I said it once, this was a while ago, and my friend was like, "How many followers do you have?" I'm like, "Oh, I have such and such amount of followers." And they're like, "Oh, you're leading a cult." And I was like, "No, I'm not. We're just
it.
friends.
Right.
We're
Right.
just friends." And
Right.
they're like, "Kai, you're selling merchandise that they can purchase." I'm like, "I am leading a cult." Oh no.
Oh my gosh, I love Vibers. It's so much
Yeah,
better.
Fiverr is so much better. But
Yeah.
a lot of them obviously know you as Lulu on a little
Yeah.
TV show called Gilmore Girls. Have you ever heard of Gilmore Girls? It's a
I haven't.
quite, quite an interesting show. How does it feel? It's the year right now is 2021, and this show has been out for over 20 years, but it's still resonating with an audience.
I know, it's so cool.
So much time has gone by, and it's still resonating. What is it like
Yeah.
knowing that you've been a part of a show that is still resonating 20 years later?
It's a total like it's just one of those. I mean, that's one of those cool things about being an actor in TV and film because it's just
Mhm.
nothing but surprises.
Yeah,
And every now and then it's an awesome surprise. And
yeah,
this is definitely one of them. There's been so many gifts from the fan community. I've never really connected with a fan community before,
yeah.
and this has just been so much. I mean, it's just been so like everyone's just been so sweet and such
Yeah,
good vibes to it.
yeah,
I learned so much about how the show impacts other people, which I love to know. Even parts that I'm not involved with, like that's something I didn't really think about the show in terms of not my character
mhm,
until the fan community
yeah,
brought me into a bigger picture of the show. And that's been really cool to just have an idea of where I fit into a bigger picture,
right.
how the arts touch people in different ways.
Mhm.
Just a cool
Yeah,
thing.
have you watched the show in full?
Yeah, I think it was after the second Fan Fest,
Hmm.
Gilmore Fan Fest, that I went ahead and watched the show because there was nothing but like most of the interactions with the fans, they were quoting things to me and I had no idea what they were talking about. And I'm like, this feels ridiculous. I feel like dumb. So I watched it and it gave me so much it made it much better for my
Right.
future interaction.
You know, it's really funny because every single person in the cast and crew that I've interviewed so far, every single last one didn't watch the show until fairly recently.
Oh, really?
Which, yeah, yeah, which is like because I
Wow.
know John's watching it now,
I
right?
know that about John.
Scott's watching
Yeah.
it now.
Who is?
For the first, yeah, Scott. He has a podcast out now called "I'm All In."
Scott's watching it now for the first
Yeah,
time?
yeah, he's
That's
watching it for the first
hilarious.
time. John's watching it for the first time. And I find it very interesting to
Yeah.
know that most of the cast really didn't watch it, obviously while it was on, but even some time had gone by before they actually started to watch it. Um, which is
Totally.
funny, which is just really funny to me. And
Yeah.
but I totally get it though. But you brought up the fans of the show. If there's one thing that I've learned in the short time that I've been a part of the fandom is that they are incredibly passionate, caring.
Yeah.
They have their opinions and they're like, I'm sticking to it.
Totally.
Yeah. What has your interaction been like? We're talking with the fans and interacting with the fans lately.
Oh, there's a lot of what team are you for
Yeah.
which boys, for which ladies, and I'm like, well, I try to bring Kirk in there because that's my wheelhouse. Even though I don't want them taking the Kirk when I'm the Lulu, but he's definitely a different direction.
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
so I have my opinions, but the truth is, I feel like they're not that educated, so I'm like, "Wah, Logan, wah!" And then one time I said Digger was good, and then that ignited a firestorm. And
You know, it's really funny you say that because if there's another thing that I've learned, it's that whenever I make a mistake or I say something wrong, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm watching it for the first time. I'm so sorry.
I don't know what
Oh
happens.
my god, that's really funny. That's really
Yeah.
funny. But I would imagine it's been nothing but positive experiences just talking with them.
Oh, completely.
Yeah, yeah,
Completely. I think a lot of the fans, from what I understand, some of them are really like these organized people. Talk about organized people.
mhm,
Are like on these. They're like talking every Friday,
yeah,
zooming meetings, and
yeah,
just like connected every day. Some of them, and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
some of them are just full on family now.
yeah,
Really
yeah.
sweet.
Which is really cool, I I feel like I've been welcomed in with open arms,
Oh,
right?
I
Like
bet.
because I was afraid, like honestly, because I saw when I first started posting about the show on TikTok and on Instagram, I realized that I was walking into a world where there are so many passionate people that love this show, and I was
Yeah.
like, what am I getting myself into? Are they going to hate me? Because I'm to be honest, I am not the target demographic of Gilmore Girls, right? And I was afraid what it would be like
Which makes you
for
all the more desirable.
which is
They
which
love to welcome in like
I
boys.
know. And everybody's welcomed me in with love and open arms,
Yeah,
and they love to hear things from my perspective because I come from a
totally,
different background than some of the people that watch the show.
totally.
And it's cool to like say things and then being like, "Oh, I never really thought of it that way," or "I never really, seen that
Yeah,
before." Um,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Even I have interactions where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I never. Oh, it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Right, right. Did you audition for Gilmore Girls, or did they just
Mhm.
cast you?
No, I did audition previously for actually I don't Rory's friends.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I don't know if it was at college or in high school, but a long time, like before I got Lulu,
yeah.
like over the years, because it had already been on for I think 5 years
Mhm.
when I got Lulu. I don't know, maybe I don't remember the exact
Probably for like 4 years, like 3 or 4
4 years,
3
maybe,
years.
yeah. And yeah, so I just went through a normal audition process.
Mhm.
I remember seeing Brenda, the costumer,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the waiting room when I was before the audition, look at me, and then when I was in the trailer on the first day, she was like, "I thought you'd get it," and I said, "Why?" And she said, "You had that look."
That's hilarious.
But she would see the look.
When did you know or I guess realize that you were going to be like an integral part of the show as like a character that not only got to be in multiple episodes but multiple seasons. When did you realize?
Never.
Yeah.
I never knew. I always was trying to just like suspend any expectation because it was
Yeah.
such a lovely surprise whenever they called me back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I never knew when I'd be back,
Yeah.
and it was just it just kept going, and it became
Yeah.
this normal part of my life. It was
Yeah.
really cool.
It's funny. I'm loving that I'm talking to you today because just this week I watched. I think it was season 5, episode 14 or 15 or something like that, when Kirk is doing Fiddler on the Roof,
Yeah,
and
the best one. Yeah, the
and
best
you were
one.
you were great in that episode. That was so fun to watch. That was
Thank
great.
you. Thank you. I had ridiculous amount of fun doing it.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh. I
yeah.
loved it. Like you saw the kids and they were like, "Meh," like as if Stars Hollow had that level of talent, right?
Those kids were good.
They were Broadway level, okay?
They were so good. I'm sitting there being like, my elementary school did not sound like that at all.
No. And they were little. They were like 8 years old or something. And like at the break, the crew guys had this karaoke truck set up. So they would just kind of like do karaoke during lunch or the break and stuff that particular
Yeah.
day. And the kids got up and their moms were like, sing, sing.
Oh
And
my
they sang karaoke in the truck like their jobs depended on. I was like, oh my
god.
poor children. Like
Oh,
nobody in this audience. You
yeah.
did not impress any of us. Like
So one of my questions in that episode, when you were filming it, were you aware of the stuff that was going on between Luke and Lorelai while you were filming it? Like, is that something that you needed to know? I mean, obviously, like your character didn't really have a part of that, but did you know while you were filming it?
no. Well, what happened
Okay.
was we'd have a table read. So maybe, so whatever was going on in the episode, I would hear it at the table read. So
Okay.
maybe actually, yes. I mean, I got an idea. I just didn't know the full shebang of it.
Right,
I
right. Because
knew
they
that
were
I
like
was
full on
stepping.
broken up by there's a lot of people that are heartbroken during these couple of episodes where they're broke.
Okay,
Luke and Lorelai are broken up.
that's when they're
And
broken up. I mean, I probably, yeah. I knew enough to know how to be an annoying aspect to that process. I knew enough that it was wrong that I was so up in there.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
could be.
Yeah. Oh my god. I loved everything about that. That was a really really cool episode.
Me
Um
too. I love that one
so
too.
you obviously got to work very closely with Sean Gunn,
Yes.
aka Kirk, in the show. I'm going to
Almost always.
assume that you both had a blast working together on that show. What was it
Yeah.
like working with one of the most beloved characters on the show? What was that like?
It was great. I
Yeah.
mean, he's so funny, and he's exactly one of those characters that during the table read, I'd be like, ah, the most, right? And it just made it easy. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it just made it easier. Um, really professional, very he's like kind of dorky but cool at the same time. Very, yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm glad that I got to do most of my scenes with him because I
Yeah,
feel like he's so good. It made the scenes better.
yeah, and at some point, and
Everyone feels
I'm on record by saying this, and I remember I first came across you, like I think it was when this was when Kirk brought you into Luke's diner for like the
yeah,
first date, right? And that was the first.
yeah.
I think that was one of the first times I've seen you, and I'm like, oh, I like her
Oh,
already, and
oh,
I'm on record by saying that, so I will even send it to you to prove it. Everybody here
oh.
knows it. I've been a fan of yours for quite some time. I've been a
Oh, you're so sweet. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I think Lulu gets a lot of support because this is something some fans were discussing with me somewhat recently. Is this Kirk's not? He comes off like a jerk, sort of, but he's actually a lot of his behavior is really a nice
Yeah.
person
He has a good
who
heart. Yeah.
has a good heart, and that he would meet someone who sees that in him and is a good match. I think warmed a lot of hearts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's
Yeah.
amazing. When was the last time you talked to Sean? Do you guys get to like keep in touch at all?
I ran into him,
Nice.
which was nice, in a
Yeah.
restaurant. I don't know how a couple years ago, probably now, because
Yeah.
last year like didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah, so that's always nice to run
Right.
into.
Like run into each other. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I have a couple questions. So I asked the Vibers, not the followers, the Vibers, to submit some questions to you. So I call this like a quick shot minute, which means that I'm just gonna spit the questions out to you. You whatever you come out with, quick, easy answers.
Just
Yeah.
spit it out. All
Yep.
right. All
Okay.
right.
Are you
All
ready?
right.
All right.
Yeah.
This is from Jamie. Was it hard not to break character with Kirk on set?
Yes. I'm trying to do it really fast. Sorry, I said a
This
little
is
too
this
much
is from
volume.
Chestnuts. What was your favorite moment? I'm sorry. What was your favorite moment on the show with your character?
When the diner exploded, the window, when the car drove through the window and it exploded in the diner one episode.
Nice. I like how you're just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it.
I'm trying to speak
I
fast and
know.
it's not going well, but I'm trying.
No, I love it. It's great. What was your favorite thing about Lulu and Kirk's relationship? This is from Sarah.
I like how they are. Oh, that's a good question. That's harder to answer fast. I like how they are both allowed to be themselves in different. Ha! I like how
I
they
love
both bring
that.
out parts of each other that sort of are good.
I love
A
it. I
little
love
bit
it. This
opposite.
is from Beth. Do you remember any of the routines from Bring It On?
Yes, I think I do. I think I do. I haven't tried it, but I feel like I could pull out some of it.
That's hilarious.
It's
This is
pretty
from
tough.
Kelly. Where are Kirk and Lulu today? What is their life like?
I think they are in pig parenthood bliss, and
Yeah.
I think Kirk is just going at it with his projects, and Lulu is just trying to. She's busy. She's very busy.
Yeah, yeah. This is from Lisette. How do you feel about the color pink since Lulu was not about giving up her bow?
Deeply passionate.
Yeah, is pink your favorite color?
No, but as when I go into Lulu
Yeah,
land, I embrace it to the nines.
I love it. I love it.
I like pink though.
This is from John. Which season do you feel was the most solid run of the show? I don't know if he means just in general or with you, but I'll just leave that open to you to interpret.
The first season, when I rewatched, I was the most moved by the mother-daughter relationship in the
Mhm.
first and second season.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. And last one. You alluded to this already, but Monica, and I got this question more so than any other question
Oh my
on
god,
here. You already know what's coming.
I
Who's
do.
your favorite boyfriend of
Oh,
the day? Logan, Dean, or Jess?
Logan.
Logan, yeah.
All right. I say Logan. I hope I'm not wrong. You know, I'm like,
I
oh.
don't think there was a wrong answer. There's not a wrong answer because I've definitely realized that like everybody likes everybody, right? Like and like there's
Oh,
like
that's true.
like everybody. Well, everybody has an opinion, but it's not just for one character.
Yeah,
Let me rephrase that. So like there's so many people that love Logan. There's so many people that love Jess. There's so many people like me that love Dean.
yeah,
That like it's like I feel like it's evenly split.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay, yeah, yeah. It's like an amicable discussion,
yeah,
argument.
yeah. Though I am Team Dean, but I do get a lot of people do get mad at me for saying that. But I stand by it. He was the
I like
perfect
a
first
whiny.
boyfriend. Yes, love it. You survived the hot minute questions. Good job. That was
It
easy.
was so fun. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I got so
Um,
nervous.
I do want to talk about you have an Etsy shop called Belle of the Bath. Where is it hand soaps that you're creating?
Yeah,
You create them by hand?
yeah.
That's so cool. How did that start? What?
Oh, you won't believe it. So
Yeah.
I was at, it might have been the last Fan Fest,
Uh-huh.
and I had a few soaps left over because I bring soaps to sell at the Fan Fest.
Uh-huh.
And it's become it's actually making soaps for the Fan Fest is one of the main ways that I've gotten into making soap a lot recently.
Okay. Hmm.
So, which is something I got into with my girlfriend one day when we were like really bored
Yeah.
and we got to whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A long time in my, I love making soap, so got to do it again. Long-winded. Okay, so this one fan, Angela, she was like, if you want, I'll start an Etsy shop for you and see if we sell these other ones on the Etsy shop. And I was like, that sounds crazy. I'm scared. But she's like, I'll do it all. I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
And she did the whole thing. She set it up. She shipped them out. I was like, thanks. And they all sold really fast. And I was like, well, Angela, do you want to do this together? And she was like, nope. She like barely answered my message. I was like,
Oh,
then I'm gonna, yeah. I was like, okay, well then I guess I'll just take it and run with it. I was like, I don't know. I was really intimidated by the whole process of
sure,
setting up I don't know.
sure,
I'm not very
sure.
techy, so it was all set up for me, and I just decided one day to start making more designs and selling them on Etsy, and people have been so nice about, so kind and so
Oh, that's so
supportive.
cool.
It's mostly Gilmore Girls fans, and
Right, right.
some people
And
just
so
love soaps.
can you what makes it special? Like what as opposed like what if somebody would come up to you and be like, "Hey, I'm just going to go to CVS and buy some soap." What makes this soap different than
I'm
like
looking to see if I have one on hand. I don't know. I'll show you, but it's like in a wrapper.
okay,
I have
that's
one
fine.
right here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's in Omnia Paratus,
Oh,
little umbrellas.
I love that.
It's hard to show the glare. I have a glare. And then
Oh, I
there's
see
little
it. Yeah, yeah.
layers. These represent beach balls because I made it originally in the summer.
That's so
And
cool.
and the little umbrellas are made out of soap. Oh, sorry. How do I do this? Soap dough.
Oh, that's so
Okay,
cool. Yeah, I
it's
can
hard to see
see
the
it.
details, but I make each little one by hand. Um, so I can actually use soap dough to like basically make Play-Doh that I can embed in a soap. So that's what makes it cool is just the Gilmore themes. I just did
Yeah.
a Thousand Yellow Daisies theme.
Oh, no.
It's been so popular, and I didn't know that like the people who've been buying my soaps would come back every time I make a new design. I have people who order every soap I make,
Yeah.
and they write me little notes, or they'll be like,
Oh,
"Oh, can you add this to it?" Or and I've never had anything but kind things said about them, and I'm like, this
right.
is fine with me. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
why I wouldn't keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, if anybody that's listening or watching right now, if you are interested in learning more about Belle of the Bath, I'm going to include a link to your Etsy shop, if that's okay,
Thank
in
you.
the
I would love for
description.
y'all to check it out. I love
Yeah, yeah.
feedback. I love.
Check it out and get some for you. So my last question to you is this: what's next? What's next for you? The world is starting to slowly open back up. What's the next adventure for you?
Well, I've been doing video games.
Nice.
Those are fun.
Okay.
I don't think I can talk about which one specifically, but
Sure.
they're
That's
lore based,
mhm.
which is very different from Lulu. I'm basically at war with people, and I'm vicious and badass.
Yeah, yeah,
Obviously fun.
yeah.
Um, and very, very eager to. I kind of, I don't know. Hopping on a plane still feels a little intimidating
Sure, sure,
just because
sure.
of all the rules and you never know what's going. It's just like I don't know what's going on, and I
Right.
want
That's
to know
that's
what's going
that's
on
true. I
before it's
went to a
going on.
restaurant the other day and I was like, I don't think I need a mask. I don't think I have to wear one because I
Just
forgot it.
please
I
don't
forgot
hurt
my mask.
me. Like, just say it in a nice way, and I'll do
Yeah.
whatever you want.
Right, right.
Um, but yeah, exactly. So that being said, every time I see an airplane, I lose my mind. I want to
That's
get on
fair.
one so bad.
That's
Yeah,
fair. That's fair.
Paris, New York, New Orleans.
Philly.
I loved Philly. What a cool bell! It's so cool.
You get a cheesesteak when you were in Philly?
No, I did not. I think I don't know. It's not. I don't. I wasn't,
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not good for your health, but it's good for your soul.
oh, I'll have to eat one day just to have the experience. When I
Yes.
was there, I did the museums. I was
Yeah.
stuck overnight at an airport, and I went
Uh,
up with a guy. The guy I went with owned Hers Potato Chips. His family, which is a Philadelphia potato chip thing.
yeah,
So I felt very cool
that's awesome. Oh my
touring
gosh.
Philadelphia with that. Yeah, that
That's
person.
awesome. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Well, I'm so happy that we got to sit and chat
Me
and to hang out
too.
today. This made my Sunday. This made my
Me
day.
too. Oh
I
my gosh.
appreciate it.
Nice to connect with all you guys out there too.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, yeah, I
great.
was going to ask is there anything that you would like to say to all of the Gilmore Girls fandom that are listening or watching right now?
I'm just so appreciative of the good vibes you guys bring, and that you're also, oh my God, so sweet to each other. And I'm so glad to be part of it and to be part of the project that got you guys feeling this way.
Yeah, right on. Thank you so much, Rini, for hanging out with me on the podcast. Everybody, if you enjoyed what you watched today, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and follow me on your favorite social media platforms. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever you're on. Follow me at The Vibe with Kai. And you can also visit my website, thevibewithkai.com, where I'm always posting things that'll help you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good vibes. Once again, to my guest of honor, the very lovely Rini Bell, thank you so much for hanging out with me.
My
Everybody else,
pleasure.
thank you for watching. As always, God bless and good vibes.